So this week the New York Times decided to post a story about where Tucker Carlson lives. They're basically doxing him for the second time. His family was already attacked, their home was vandalized, and he already had to move, sell his house and move out of Washington, D.C. and move to a New York home. And now the New York Times is talking about doing that again to him. And this follows a pattern of basically evil and trying to quell free speech. If you take a look at what happened to the Covington kids, were waiting for their bus when a Native American protester, a group of protesters, decided to challenge them, and they moved up and their leader was banging a drum in one of the kids' faces. The media had film of all this, and they edited that film to make it appear as if the Covington kids were racist and somehow challenging the Native Americans, which they weren't. They were just standing there. And then they doxed one of the 16-year-old kids, got his life threatened. I mean, think about that for a minute. Think about how evil and vile you have to be to do something like that, to have footage where you know what you're saying isn't true, to edit the footage for a specific narrative, and then to put a kid and his family at risk up for their lives in an effort to forward your narrative. Now, the left has been kind of going on a ever-increasing hysterical rampage, I would say, for the last 16 years. And, it started with just trying to shut down conservative speakers on college campuses, and escalated quickly to violence against, right-wing protesters or activists. And they will tell any lie to forward their narrative, and they will imbibe, they'll swallow any lie to make themselves feel righteous in what they're doing. And they truly believe that the evil that they are committing is in the greater good. And they are not going to stop until there is a great deal of bloodshed. At least that's my opinion. I think that they are going to take this as far as they can. They will escalate until they are killing whoever they feel they need to see their vision of our society realized. And that includes not just right-wingers, but pretty much everybody that doesn't agree with them. And I don't see it stopping unless enough blood on their side is spilled to where they don't feel it's worth the cost anymore. They have truly evil people in the media pretending that, Portland is an area of peaceful protest. And we know this isn't true if you look at footage of people there ripping open the federal court building and trying to set it on fire with people in it. If you see footage of them trying to bait cops coming out of that building, where they attack them with hammers and try to hit them with blocks of cement, it's not a peaceful protest. And yet we have a whole bunch of people in the media who are running the narrative, even in the ACLU, who are running the narrative that this is peaceful protests and that the cops are simply executing authoritarian tactics. And I know it's easy when you trust a media source or whatever to believe them. Hell, up until today, I trusted the ACLU for most things, and then I read an article on the ACLU website which is clearly in contradiction to the truth. And I just don't see this stopping. I really don't. That's my opinion. It is not going to stop, and you are going to have to protect yourself against these people. And I really hope that you will take the steps necessary to protect yourself. Not just getting a gun. That's one step. But maybe seeing where you can go in the country that isn't filled with these people, or maybe even getting out of the country altogether. Because I don't see this stopping until there is a huge amount of bloodshed. And I've been saying this for a few years, but it's worse today than it was a few years ago. It's worse than I really honestly believed that it would get. But we're at where we're at. So, you know, look to safe places that you can go. Get yourself a gun. Get ready to protect yourself, because you're going to have to, I'm pretty sure.